Hey friends, welcome back to the podcast. I have a guest with me today that I'm going to be introducing you to. So my guest today is Jeremy Krakowski, who is in his 30s, but a 22-year veteran in the online coaching industry. He literally started when he was 15, you guys. He has grown multiple coaching companies beyond the 8-figure a year profit mark. And he specializes in like direct response marketing, advertising, and AI. And the reason I'm having him come on is because I feel like he's a genius when it comes to AI. I feel like he is really good at making tough concepts easy to understand. And yes, for those of us that don't, have great tech skills. And so I think that you're going to learn something today in my conversation with Jeremy about how he's using AI in his business, how he's using it to make photos, how he's using it to do ads, how he's using ChatGPT to make thumbnails and content for his website. And so both beginners and experts alike are going to benefit from the wisdom of his marketing tactics. So without further ado, let me introduce to you Jeremy Krakowski. All right, Jeremy, hey.
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing so good. How are you?
I am doing great today. I just got done having some lunch, got to kiss my little baby, 6 months old. He gets so sad whenever I go upstairs. So of course I want to go play with him after this.
Right. You should have just brought him on the podcast and then we could have
I
just,
know.
he could make his podcast
He's
debut
probably
and
taking a nap now.
all the ladies' ovaries would be aching. But I'm so
Yep.
glad that you're here.
Yeah.
I've already, read your bio and things, but I just want to like share with our audience how I know you. So,
Yeah.
your mom is Sandy Krakowski, who everybody on the internet
Badass Sandy
knows.
Krakowski. Oh, can I say
Do
that
what?
on here? Can I say that on here? The badass Sandy
Yeah,
Krakowski?
she sure is.
Okay.
And she sure is. And so she was my first business coach, which anybody that's listened to my podcast knows. I always try to give honor where honor is due.
Yeah.
And Sandy changed my life by way of my business, but she really changed the way I think about a lot of things. She's changed a whole lot for me. And so she was my business coach like 11 years ago. So I
Yeah.
met you then. So how old are you now, or how old were you then? Because
How
it's
old
almost
am I
like,
now?
I mean, I
I'm
don't,
at that
I
age
don't,
where I forget my age.
you're at the age.
Let me look at the calendar. 37
Okay,
now.
I was gonna say you were middle
Yeah.
30s. And so that's
Yep.
when I met you, though, was like 11 years ago. And so I knew you before you were married. And then I
Yep.
met your sweet bride on the
Yep.
streets of Kansas City. Do you remember this story?
I do. Yep.
Yeah, I was in a shopping district. She was in a shopping district. I remember
Down
seeing
in West Bottoms.
on social media. And I was like,
Yep.
oh, you're Abigail. And I just remember she was like, oh, and so we talked and I love her too, because I don't know if you know this, but Abigail prophesied over me at one of your mom's live meetups in Kansas City years
Oh
ago
wow.
about just using my voice to help women. And so, your family
I did
has,
not know that
they
actually.
have, they have been pivotal in many points in my life, even though we haven't seen each other in a decade, but I'm glad you're here. And so here's what I knew about you then, and even more so now, because I follow you, of course, on social media, is
Yeah.
that you're techie.
Yeah.
You're really like smart in ways that are different from me. Like you're techie smart, you're book smart, you're an intelligent
Right.
guy. And so I was not at all surprised when I saw you in the last couple of years. Like I knew that you were helping your mom and her business, and then I knew you were doing your own thing. I knew you were
Yeah.
building your own stuff. I knew you had your own platform. But when I saw you really start talking more about like AI, I was not at all shocked. I'm like, perfect, because he's got
Yeah.
that type of a brain that I know it makes sense. And you're also in a great age bracket, for that. Not that people in their 50s, such as myself, can't figure out AI, because we certainly can. But I'm just
Totally.
saying, I've kind of watched you evolve almost like a proud auntie or something. And, get
Yep.
married and have kids, and then you've got this incredible business of your own. So I know I've read your
Yep.
bio, but will you tell everybody kind of what it is that you actually do in business on a
Yeah.
day-to-day basis right now?
Yeah. Yeah. So I help coaches, course creators, mentors that have information businesses. I've been in that industry for 22 years. So like it's so interesting. 22 years.
Everybody's doing the math.
Do I
30.
look? Yeah, no, I was 15 years
I know
old
when you
when
started
I got
helping your
started.
mother.
I was
Yeah.
doing video production for a lady named Danny Johnson, and I
I
got started doing all of,
DANI, that
yeah,
Danny.
DANI. So I was doing all her video production, going to her seminars, and she was this like a sales trainer for the network marketing industry.
Mhm.
Met her because my mom and I went to these seminars when I was 14. And so then I literally approached them. I was like, hey, like I could help y'all with your video stuff because I got these
Yeah.
skills. And then that's how I got into the industry. haven't left it because what I did was I studied, okay, everything that they did. I had an interesting instance during that time where I made in 1 year, I was not even 21 yet. I made $750,000 doing affiliate marketing
Which was
with
insane.
Facebook ads. The first year Facebook ads first popped on the scene.
Yeah, you
And
got
that-
really good at Facebook ads. I
yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. And now we're doing a lot of Instagram ad stuff because the Instagram algorithm is, I think, way better than the Facebook algorithm. We were just doing a test this morning with my mom. Love the data to be able to share on this. It was costing us 4 times as much to get a
This
lead on
this is Jen
Facebook.
picking up her glasses
Yep.
and her notes. Go
It was
ahead.
costing us 4 times as much to get a lead on Facebook as it was on Instagram this morning. And the data
That is
was
wild.
like so obvious. I'm like, okay, this is because normally I run it on both, but I'm like, why would I run it on both if it's costing me that much more?
So are you shutting down some of your Facebook ads and just going in
Well,
on?
just doing them all on Instagram. So like a lot of what we've done is with ads, you build it for Instagram first and then run it on both platforms. But
Okay.
I'm like, why am I going to run it on both platforms if Instagram really is
Yeah.
the cost is a no-brainer at that point.
Okay,
So anyway,
that's amazing intel.
yeah, and that's one thing you'll notice. I'll drop nuggets throughout, and then it's like, okay, let's write this down type of a thing.
Yeah.
So from there, worked with my mom to build her business. We did together. She's like built it on her own. She had done, her story's crazy, her
Yes.
e-commerce days and then all of that. But then I
Yeah.
brought my skills that I had learned and we sort of worked together to help
Mhm.
scale that company. I went
Yeah.
off on my own in 2018,
Mhm.
helped build another coaching business to 8 figures with a friend of mine. His name's Rick Pino with Worship Coach.
Wait, how do you know Rick Pino?
My
I was
wife
in a
and I,
mastermind with Rick.
yeah, my wife and I built Worship Coach with Rick. Yeah.
Okay, I had
He'll
no
tell
idea.
you full on, like we built it. We was like, okay, Sandy's model, let's make that exactly. And we were able to scale that to over $1 million a month
These good
with
people.
Rick. Rick was the face, but it was
Wow.
Abigail and I were behind the scenes. We were like the main brains behind that. So that was really cool. I didn't have the confidence to be a face of a brand myself at that point. So we're
Yeah.
looking at like 2021, 2022,
Mhm.
whole career of helping really charismatic speakers and
Yeah.
teachers
Yeah.
scale their brands and being able to kind of attach what I do with people and grow things really well, really quickly. When I went off to build my own coaching business, I couldn't crack more than $1,000 a month in sales. And this is one of my stories I share with people. I was like, I could do 8 figures over here with
Yeah.
somebody that I knew, like they had the confidence and the
Right.
charisma
They
and the
were they're
message.
forward facing. Yeah.
But then my own business couldn't crack $1,000 a month in sales. And then in 2023, I was able to hit 7 figures in my business 2 years ago, which is awesome. So
That
that's
is
kind of been that journey. My first son was born in 2023 as well. And then my wife just gave birth to our second son. We got Halston was the first one, and then Kyron was just born 6 months ago. So
okay. How far apart are the boys?
uh 18, 19 months.
Okay, ours are 22.
Yep.
It's so much fun
Yep.
having boys that close together. So,
Oh, maybe it is. No, maybe it is 22 months.
well,
I think
just
the math is 22 months. Yeah.
a word, just because I know a thing or two. So, if you guys decide to have a third, and if
We want
it's a
to.
girl,
Yeah.
let me just tell you, that girl's going to be built different
We'd,
because
we'd love
everybody
to
I
have a girl.
know that has boy that are close and then a girl, that girl's just that third. She just something else. She is a force of nature to be reckoned with. And so,
That's
which
what we're praying for.
okay,
But
there you go.
whatever the Lord has, that
There you,
happens there,
there you
know.
go. So I've been seeing a lot of your content,
Yeah.
and this is why I messaged you the other day because I saw you do a post on Facebook. And let me ask this: if you're going to be running more ads on Instagram, I know I'm totally going off script right now, but are
No,
you
it's fun.
enjoying Instagram as a platform more than you are Facebook at the moment? Because I do.
Um,
But
it's interesting. I see the platforms as tools versus like I enjoy getting my message out there. I enjoy connecting and coaching with people.
mhm.
That is one thing that like maybe I could gain more enjoyment in the platforms themselves. I
Okay,
use my social media because my social media doesn't have a lot of reach, but it's a lot of nurture of those that are on my email list.
yeah,
A
I can
lot
see.
of my social media is more geared towards who already knows me.
Okay,
And then I run ads to kind of bring people
bring it.
into
Yeah,
that ecosystem.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
little different than a lot than like doing it organically and kind
Okay,
of
yeah,
I
I
haven't
see.
optimized a lot of my content for that either. That's one thing. I'm not very optimized in organic social media, never have been. And yet I was able to scale my business.
Well, and it's because you understand paying for traffic. And so,
Yeah, I understand the paid ads really well.
yeah,
And so that's like lean in on my strengths more
right.
than
So I
anything else.
saw, well, and have you ever seen that meme? This is a really good lesson for somebody that's watching. If you have a child, the meme says something like, if you have a child who's got a C in math and an A in tennis, hire them a coach in tennis. Because
Yeah.
double down on what they're already good at and quit trying to make people better at stuff that they just innately
Yep.
are not. You know what I mean? So you've got the other game down, which
Yeah.
also means that you don't have to be so forward facing if you didn't want to. Like you could, if you've got the ads game down, you can just kind of hands
Yeah.
off a lot of your socials sometimes. So there's some nice things from that. But here's the post that I saw from you. It basically said, hey guys, did you know that now on ChatGPT, you can ask it to make a YouTube thumbnail? And I was like, wait a second,
Oh yeah.
wait a second, what? What do you mean you can use that? Because this podcast is on YouTube. So we have
Yeah.
majority of the people listen, on wherever they listen to podcasts. But Easton, who does our YouTube, he will always put this on to the YouTube channel. We get, a couple thousand listens or whatever there. And so in my head, I was like, ooh, I want to know how Jeremy does this. So I'm having you here totally selfishly,
Yeah.
just like that's the real. Because I'm like, how are
Yeah.
you making graphics on ChatGPT? Because I want to be able to tell Easton, hey, you can cut down your time, in terms of getting
Yep.
mom's podcast on YouTube. So did ChatGPT just start doing some things with pictures? Like what's happening? Because as far as I knew, they
Yeah.
weren't doing anything with photos.
Yeah, they just added the ability now where it is able to design graphics creatively based on any parameters you give it. You can give it examples too, and then it'll
Okay.
kind of make it into that. So there's so many different ways where I almost would recommend for most people that are like solopreneurs,
Mhm. Yep.
that are starting out, that they don't need to use Canva even, that they should just learn to use ChatGPT
Ooh.
instead of
Ooh.
using Canva, because
That's a
here's
that's a
how
that's
I
a
look at
ballsy
AI.
statement. That's a ballsy statement. I like it.
AI is my it's like it's an intern slash employee that's able to do work for me.
Who's
And
probably smarter in
and
some
I
way.
talk to it the way that I would.
Yeah.
That way, I have a number of different people like overseas in the Philippines that I work with
Uh-huh.
that
Yep.
do a lot of my like
So do
video
yeah.
and landing pages and stuff. And it's interesting because the same way that I talk to ChatGPT, I learned better how to talk to ChatGPT by learning how to talk with the overseas
Uh-huh.
employees that way, because you got to
Yeah.
spell stuff out a lot more than say a native English speaker.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
found, okay, with ChatGPT, you got to really spell out all the details
Mhm.
and don't assume that it's going to just figure it out or be
Right.
creative on its own. So like you there's a skill to it, taking a creative vision, a visual or a anything, and
Mhm.
being able to turn it into words. Now
Yeah.
what's cool is ChatGPT, you could give it a little bit and then tell it to turn it into those words for you. And
Okay.
that's what I love doing as well.
Okay. And so this is a new feature on ChatGPT. Is this with
Mhm.
the paid version or the free also?
It is with the only the paid version right
Paid
now.
version. Okay, good to know.
Yep. Yep.
And so how much are you using like ChatGPT in your business on a day-to-day basis right now? Or can you give us like, my favorite
Mhm.
ways to use it in my business are XYZ. And by the way, anything you want to share your screen
Yeah.
with, Jeremy, feel free. People will have to flip over to YouTube to be able to see your visual, but feel
Yeah.
free to
Yeah.
go
Well,
for it.
I was actually going to show you something really fun that my wife and I were playing with this morning.
Yeah, I'd love to see
We're
this.
wanting to do a little design in our backyard with our swimming pool right here. So this
Okay.
is kind of what it looks like right now. There's this dirt area that we cleared up behind the swimming pool.
Okay. Yes.
Well, I was able to tell the AI to brainstorm a design, and that one's not quite there, but I was able to come up with this design and literally create this graphic, which is exactly the vision that my wife had.
That's very cool.
And it was able to just do this, superimpose it right on there. Now, how did I get it there? It took a little bit of, okay, we have a Pinterest photo right here.
Messy. Okay.
I got
Yep.
different photos. Then it started like, I told it to brainstorm. So I said, brainstorm me a design. I want it to be this design from Pinterest.
Okay.
Um, I misspell
This
stuff all
is
the time.
a game changer, Jeremy, because I'm sitting here
Yeah.
thinking about how like my sofa. So hopefully you guys are all watching this on YouTube. I'm sitting here thinking about how we need a new sofa for our living room. We had a very expensive sofa the designer ordered for me 7 years ago when we moved in. Fits the space perfectly, but I've always hated it. Jason's always hated it. So for 7 years, we keep thinking we need to replace this sofa. About a year ago, I buy a sofa, and our living room ceilings are 12 foot tall in our family room.
Yeah.
And so this was a short sofa, so it looked like a little like miniature house sofa in that room.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm terrible at scale. This was an awful choice. Let me go ahead and sell this. Well, the other night I did the same thing. I bought another sofa. We get it home. It looks terrible in there. The color's not quite right, and it's really, really small. And so I'm like, okay, I am terrible at sofas. So Jason and Ava keep saying, why can't we get a sectional? Why can't we get one of those Chase Lounge things? And I'm like, I just can't see how it's going to fit. And so right now, as you're talking, I'm like, can I go over to ChatGPT, give it a picture of my room?
Yep.
And what would I say? What would I
And
say?
the first thing you wanted to do, especially if it's for that, is tell it to measure the room. So like I did this, I gave it $100,000 budget. And I told it to measure my bathroom,
Okay.
and it literally started writing code. You don't need to know code. It did all this on its own. So it
Wow.
has a brain that wrote all this code to measure my bathroom.
Okay.
Look at this. It measured it from the image, and then it was able to, I said, okay, $100,000, remodel my bathroom.
Amazing.
And it was amazing. My wife did ask to not show the original bathroom picture that I put up
Okay.
there, because
Sure.
it was like there was towels everywhere and stuff like that.
No, that's fine. So is this a game changer for
It
the
is.
designers that are listening right now,
I would say it is. In
or
fact,
landscapers?
I had an idea that like you could literally go in and cast vision for your clients simply by finding real estate photos that might be on Zillow, and then they could literally say, "Hey, look, what do you think about these three designs?" as they go in, and they could even go door to door, print out like a design that could be something that they could do for people as a
That is
way to like
crazy.
create business that way. Um, that was a build off of something I heard somebody say for local businesses.
Okay.
With local business, you could use AI.
Mhm.
There's AI tools now. This might be going a little more advanced here, but that can literally build out full on apps, website, software. And so
Mhm.
what this guy was saying was you use the AI, you build out a new entire brand for a local business, and then you approach them and say, "Hey, for $500 and $20 a month, you can have this now. And it's already built.
That's
Just
awesome.
install it for you." And that's literally creating like a business model that people could create that way, because it's so fast at iterating, prototyping, and
Yeah.
coming up with those different things. Now those are some fun use cases. Those might be some ways that people could make money. I use it though personally more for a couple of different ways. Number
Yeah.
one, I actually use it a lot for my mental health and communication abilities. So
I
that's
have friends doing the same thing.
one of
Let
my
me
main
tell you.
ways, and
Yes.
they actually released a report that that's the number one way that people use AI today across all platforms
No
is,
way.
is to help them as like an interim therapist. I still think there's a lot
Yeah.
of value with having like a human therapist,
A hundred
but
percent.
being able to process through certain situations and things like that, and like, okay, why am I being triggered in this way? One way that I find that I like to use it too is I'll mention, okay, I'm dealing with this situation. And then I ask ChatGPT, this is a huge unlock for your audience.
Okay.
Give me 20 YouTube search terms for videos from experts on the topic of what I've been dealing with. And
And
then I will search for those videos, and I will literally find like the perfect YouTube video,
that is
because I
helpful.
dialogued with the AI about what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
And then it literally gives me exactly what the search term is. Now, Google also has their own version of AI called Gemini.
I know. Unimpressed.
Their new one is actually really impressive. Just came out a couple weeks
Really?
ago. It's really
Okay.
good.
Okay.
It might be a little bit better at coming up with the YouTube stuff, but for the sake of this example, we'll just stick to ChatGPT
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I have a friend who is in the middle of some relationship things. And she was telling me the other day that she has been telling ChatGPT, like, this is the situation. Um, we have split up, but I'm feeling this way or I'm feeling that way. Can you help me to see things? And so I was like, oh my gosh, you're using like ChatGPT as like a therapist in your pocket, which again is no replacement for the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I was to call my therapist right now, she wouldn't have an opening for a week or two. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
like when you're needing something right away, I think this is phenomenal.
Well, and you might be able to just do this. So with the paid version, you get access to the voice
Hi there.
the voice model.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, yes, yes.
Whoops.
So if there's any
Let me see. I'm trying to
So you
pull
can
up the
talk
voice
it
model
out
here.
as if you were like talking to somebody on Voxer.
Well, look at this. This is how people could use this.
Okay. So if
Is
you're not watching on YouTube, again, jump over to YouTube so you can see what Jeremy's about to show me on his phone. Go ahead.
yeah. So if I pull up and I say, "Hey, what's going on, ChatGPT?
Hey, not much. Just here to chat. What's up with you?
Hey, can you act as if you are a therapist specifically trained in CBT and IFS, internal family systems therapy?"
Sure, I can fill that. What's on your mind today?
Well, I'm about to go on a podcast and I'm really nervous about messing up when I'm talking and I don't want to make a fool of myself. How can I help calm my nerves a little bit?
It's totally natural to feel nervous before a podcast. One CBT technique that can help is cognitive restructuring. Try identifying the specific thoughts causing your anxiety, like I'll mess up, and challenge them. What's the worst that could happen? And even if it does,
Okay, that is wild. So you're inside of ChatGPT,
Yeah.
and then what did you go to inside of? And
There's
it's
the voice mode. So on the paid version,
voice
there's a
mode.
little icon right
Yes,
here.
but so I've done the voice, like my voice, but I've never had ChatGPT read things back to me.
Yeah, so this is the advanced voice mode, which is on the
Okay,
paid
okay,
version.
okay, gotcha. Okay, so I need
Yep.
we use the paid version on Team
Yeah.
Allwood, but I just have like the free version for me personally, like when
Yeah,
I
yeah.
write a new description
Yep.
for Airbnb or something. Okay,
Yep. Which
so
is great at doing stuff like
it
that in the
really
free
is.
version. The free version's really good at that.
It
The
is.
paid one, though, it has the ability to talk to it in that way, and it's really good at doing that.
Okay.
Um,
I was thinking about something this morning. Tell me if you agree
yeah.
or disagree with this. I have a new client who she signed up for like I do Voxer coaching with clients now. I'm not having a
Mhm.
mastermind this year because we have kiddo getting married, two kids
Yeah, yeah.
moving, two graduations. So anyway, so I paused the mastermind and so I'm just offering like Voxer coaching because I can do that from anywhere in the world. It's
Yeah.
still one-on-one. It just doesn't have any live events. So I'm
Yep.
Voxer coaching with a brand new client this morning. And she has a company that does her social media management. So I go over to her social media and I'm like, I just want to ask her, how much are you paying them? Because this is awful. This is absolutely awful. It would be so much better for her to be using ChatGPT to do her social media than the
Yeah.
social media management company. Are you seeing the same thing?
I think that's where things are headed. One of the things with social media is you still there's some more advanced ways to get it to mirror your voice and to have the right content and context.
Okay.
And so the big unlock that I use like for content is transcripts.
Okay.
So taking transcripts of any sessions that I might do during my coaching calls,
Yeah.
and I'll have it brainstorm social media posts or
Oh,
carousels or
that's
things like
good.
that, uh, based on those things. Like I did a carousel a couple weeks ago on my social media that actually has like a cartoon version of me in the carousel. Let me pull it up here on my
Yeah. See
screen.
if you can share your screen. That would be
And I'll
great.
show you. So it didn't get a lot of engagement because I think the topic might not have resonated with my audience, but I loved it as an example of just playing
Okay.
around with this technology. So it's like if you can think clearly, you can't think clearly if your body thinks you're dying. This is really like a therapy type based thing
Yeah.
about feeling safety. But it's like the real reason you're spinning out of control, your campaign underperformed, low sales, zero momentum, it's your
Yeah.
nervous system going into fight or
Mhm.
flight. The brain can't tell the difference between a tiger chasing you or your business not performing.
Yeah.
Which this is great content, but like the algorithm wasn't like, meh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I thought it was really cool just as an example to show you how I was able to feed it like photos of me and
That's
it made
really
this cartoon and it was based off of a video that I had done, like a podcast. I fed it the transcript of a podcast that I did.
okay.
And then it was able to, I told it, okay, pull like 10 topics from this podcast that you think would make a great carousel on Instagram. And then I
Yes,
picked
that's
that
so
one and I
good.
said, now map out what every frame of the carousel would look like.
So
Describe
how do
in
you get your
detail.
podcast transcript? How are you getting that?
There's a lot of tools out there.
Okay.
use there's one called Otter AI that I use.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So Otter AI, you can also get a transcript if you upload to YouTube. YouTube generates a transcript automatically
Okay.
for whatever people like put on YouTube. So you can just copy and paste that as well.
Got it.
And I use my transcripts all the time to brainstorm, come up with ideas. I will take like my group coaching calls where I'm answering questions, and I love Q&A transcripts because then I will
This is
tell
really
the AI, make me out a list of all the questions that were asked specifically.
okay.
That's one of the prompts. And then I'll say, and then make me a list of any underlying issues that weren't talked about during this conversation that could
Ooh,
help this person that we didn't discuss.
that's really good. That's really, really good. Okay. You got my
Yep.
brain. I've got 1,
So
2, 3,
those are a
5, 6.
couple other ways that I use AI.
Yeah.
And then I'll literally filter those questions from my transcripts into coming up with lead magnets,
Yes.
content,
Yes.
topic ideas for
Yeah.
social media. So with AI, it's really a brainstorming assistant to come up with a lot of ideas. Where AI is headed, it's very technical to do this right now. Let me tell you, if I say it's technical, it's probably way more technical for it because I'm having trouble with it even.
Okay. Okay.
There's a technology called AI agents that's starting to pop on the scene where it's literally like I can just send it the transcript and it will literally do all the work for me without me having to prompt it because it's pre-programmed with the intention that I want. So it'll do all the prompting on its own. That's where AI is headed, where we have these different tools. And that's one of the things, if anybody follows me online, I'm actually working on learning some of the ways to develop some of these. Again, I'm overwhelmed by some of them already myself. So I'm like, okay, it's not quite in the mainstream yet. If I'm feeling
Right.
overwhelmed, I
Yeah.
can't even
Then,
teach this
yeah.
to anybody if I'm feeling
Yeah.
overwhelmed
Yeah.
by it. So, but that's where everything is headed, to where you will literally have it be beyond just ChatGPT, but you'll be able to have like a trusted AI. This is like total
Agent.
future
Yeah.
vision in the next year or two.
Okay.
It's trained on everything that you've ever done. Now there's a tool like that. Like, have you heard of Delphi AI?
I have not, but I was going to ask you what other,
Mhm.
AIs are you enjoying? So,
Yeah, Delphi AI. We were playing around with it for my mom. You can throw all of your recordings in there and it'll create like a bot that sounds like you.
okay.
So what I think is going to happen though with AI agents is you'll be able to filter all your content in, and then it'll be able to spin up, okay, here's your social media bot that's like going to make the perfect social media content. And now here's the issue with that. That's going to create an even more diluted space on social media where everybody has higher quality content, where everybody has, and now because everybody it's all a bunch of noise again.
Yeah.
And who rises to the top? People that can create authentic connection
Yeah,
with other
that's true.
people.
100%. Yes.
So AI is literally going to amplify. I have a belief of this. AI is going to amplify authentic human connection by default because people are going to be so sick and tired of the same
That's good.
AI generated
That's
stuff.
regurgitated.
And we're already seeing that happen. So I use AI to brainstorm ideas, to take my brain to help me with one thing and one thing only, deepening connections with other people.
So good. Okay, so I saw you do a post, and I do still want to ask you about doing the YouTube thing. I want to see how to create a thumbnail.
Yep.
I did see you do a post about ChatGPT deep research. What is that?
Yes. Okay, so ChatGPT deep research. Deep research has kind of become this trendy thing now that I will say Google's deep research is now better than ChatGPT's. So I'm using Google's for that
Okay.
in Gemini. And it's free to access their deep research right now. So the way that deep research works, if we just pull up here,
Okay.
unfortunately, ChatGPT's deep research costs you like $200 a month to use,
Bummer. Okay.
whereas
It's like
Gemini
the
is
highest
better
level.
and it's free. So
Okay.
we'll do that. So deep research with 2.5 Pro. This is the free
Okay.
version of Gemini. And what it'll do is anything that you want to ask it,
Uh-huh.
it will go to work looking up on Google. It will Google all of these websites to find factual information.
Okay.
And it's an agent that's going to then compile all of that. It'll read all these pages.
Okay.
And it will then start to think and analyze and it'll even like start to debate itself internally to give you the common consensus based on your question in a detailed report.
Okay.
So for instance, I'm going to just show you an example of how I use this right here. If I go over here, this is my account that I use a lot more often. We were actually looking up about how much nail polish might get into breast milk. It
Interesting.
was
Okay.
but my wife was wondering this,
Yes.
because
Okay.
she's breastfeeding. And so it literally went to work.
And so
And
it's looking at all sorts of different sources for the
yeah,
answer.
so I asked it this request. I actually started and I told the AI, generate me a request as if you're a research agent expert
Mhm.
to find all these details on this. So I would start by whatever I want to research, I would ask the AI, generate me a request that I want to send to a research assistant.
Okay.
And then that request goes into here. It does the research. And let's see, how many websites did it look up? It was able to look up all these sources right here that it
Which
used.
alleviates her having to go to 20 different articles and try
Yeah,
to.
it did all this like thinking and processing, and then it gave us this article right here based on the information that it found
Okay, that's amazing.
for doing that. Now, funny way that I've used deep research more than anything else, I love to play video games. If I'm lacking creativity, I literally will pull up like a strategy video game and play some.
Okay.
And so there's like this game series that I love. It's called Total War, where you like put your battlefield and all this on. It's this whole crazy game. But it's really difficult to like figure out, okay, how do you do this really well? And you can spend hundreds of hours figuring it out. Well, I
Mhm.
went to deep research and I just said, okay, here's my situation. What's the best thing to do on this? It researched like 100 articles from other gamers on what
Okay.
they did in my situation. And then I just did what the deep research said in the game. And I was like, okay, that's crazy.
That is so smart.
And
So how
it
could
wasn't
that be
necessarily telling me
applied?
like what to do, but it gave me like how to think about it.
Okay, so I'm thinking of like a recent situation where I had a friend who lost her Facebook business page.
Okay.
She's like, Jen, do you know how I can get it back? And I'm like, girl, let me see. So I'm Googling and, and I'm finding a million different articles, Reddit sites, Quora. Is that how I say that? Quora?
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm looking, and so I'm scanning through articles and I'm going to Facebook's help and looking at how she can, get her page back. So could deep research be used for something like that so that you're not having to look up 20 different things again?
It absolutely can. And so like I would start by just doing a prompt like this. I would say, write up a research request to a research expert. Half the time I'm not even spelling right when I use AI because it helps me go much faster.
Yeah, and it gets it still.
So don't ever worry about spelling with AI. And then it wrote this up. I'm writing you a request for your expertise to research a process on recovering a Facebook page that's been unpublished, disabled, or otherwise removed by Facebook.
Okay. All right.
Many individuals. So then like it comes up with the key points that it wants.
Okay.
I'll copy this request here.
Okay.
And then I'll go to deep research and I'll prompt it, okay, this is the research request that I want. Because now what I'm requesting is I'm writing you to request your expertise in researching the process. And so then it'll go ahead and it'll do some of this. It takes a long time. It's going to take way too long for this call to
That's okay,
kind of
sure.
show you
But
how
good
it
luck with
does.
that because it's
But
going
this
up.
is the start of it, is it'll generate kind of a research plan. So
And
it'll
then
come up with, okay,
plus-
it's going to identify common reasons why.
Yep.
It'll document these steps, and you can edit its research. You can edit its plan right here.
Okay.
So I
So
can
that,
literally go in and like edit the research plan and tell it what I want changed. And then it will start to do that, and it'll go to work and it'll look on all these websites and look all that up.
that is amazing. Okay. Well, you got your screen up real quick. Show us one of your, do you have a YouTube thumbnail handy that you made with
Yes.
ChatGPT? And I'd love to
Now,
know how you do that.
this morning I was banging my head against the wall trying to make a YouTube thumbnail and it wasn't working. And so
Bummer.
I'll tell you this, YouTube thumbnails have been a little bit of a challenge.
Okay.
It
We'll
kept
take
cutting it off was the problem.
like
All
cutting
the
the
text
photo.
right here.
Okay.
But what I could do is I could take like what it generated. The other problem is it's not making my face exactly look like me.
Okay. Yeah.
Because they don't want like deep
Yep.
fakes and stuff is their
Okay.
big thing. So that's the unfortunate thing about using. So I put the transcript in here, it made the thumbnail, but
Uh-huh.
it was struggling with that. But the workaround that I figured out was I tell it to like brainstorm it.
Yes.
Sometimes it makes the thumbnail really good, other times it's not. So I wish that's like a use case I think is still getting a little bit better.
Yeah. There's room for improvement.
But I'll show you like one that I did that was good over here on my YouTube.
And did it write the copy on that for you, Jeremy?
It did based on my transcript.
Good. Awesome. And so how do you
So,
feel
like, here's a thumbnail right here. Rest in peace, designers, new ChatGPT tool. That one was made with the ChatGPT right
that's
there.
good? Do you feel like YouTube naming the videos for YouTube does better than you naming your YouTube videos?
Well, so for naming the YouTube video, oh, it's interesting. It used the same thumbnail text as that one. I had my, so that's the thing. I try not to use the same text
Yeah.
in the thumbnail, but I made a
Okay.
mistake here. It was like really late at night too. Uh, so I do like to use vidIQ to help me come up with names for my YouTube titles.
vidIQ. Okay.
Yeah, so vidIQ is like $10 a month, and I've found that it's probably one of the better ones, and I'll give it an idea for YouTube videos, and then it'll start to rank for me like titles and stuff like that. I
Okay.
just find that it's trained much better on the YouTube algorithm
Okay. That's really good to
for
know.
their AI title generator and things like that, which is cool. So
Because every single time I do a podcast and I want to, give the name to Easton for the thumbnail or whatever, I'm too wordy. And it's a struggle for me to be able to condense into a few words what the entire podcast is about. And so
yeah.
we're always struggling. Well, these are some options that we could do. So that's a great tool for us to be thinking about that.
Yeah, and that's a good tool because it'll read your transcript and then give you ideas based on the title you came up with. One way though that I'll use ChatGPT that will work for this for thumbnails is I can take a transcript of a YouTube video and then I can tell it, okay, brainstorm for me what the like 5 ideas. I always tell it to give me like 5 or 10 ideas
Okay.
because I find like just one idea I don't like
I agree. I always
at
ask for
all.
several options. Yeah.
But I'll
Or
ask
I
for
like
several
asking for 5.
options,
Yeah.
and then I'll tell it, okay, now brainstorm for me what this thumbnail might look like, and I just want it to do it in text.
Okay. Yep.
So I just want it to come up with in text, and then I might ask ChatGPT, okay, generate me an image of what this thumbnail will look like. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's the only thing that I've been kind of.
But I always find that even like when ChatGPT doesn't get it perfect, it's still a launching pad, and it's
Yeah,
still
it's still a launching pad.
like
Exactly.
the thinking power, and it saves me the heavy lift of just trying to brainstorm on my own. And so,
Yep.
so I still love that. So I know also that you and I were talking about using ChatGPT to like help people if they're starting, let's say, a website or a landing page or whatever. And I know we were messaging back and
Yes.
forth, and you were talking about how
Actually, one
like
of my favorite use cases.
yeah, and so and you made such a great point that for so long there have been some barriers to entry into the online space that people have been using. I don't know how to make my own graphics. I don't have a website. I don't know
Yep.
how to, I don't know what I should put on there. I don't know what to say in an email. And so you and I were kind of talking about that. Like now, like all of those things are kind of you can no longer say those things because ChatGPT
Very easy
or
to get
AI in
access
general.
to.
Yeah. So tell me like how you're coaching people or how you're seeing people or how you're instructing
Yeah.
people to use AI to kind of come up with some of the basics they need for an online presence.
Yeah, definitely. The way that I'm coaching people is, and the people I work with, they're coaches, they're mentors, they're course creators.
Yep.
They're probably a really great teacher, but they're not an expert at marketing. And
Okay.
they've not been doing it for 22 years like I have, and they're not in
Yeah.
the trenches every single day seeing what's working, what's not. And so I tell them, okay, use the AI to make your idea tangible, to make it real. Because
Okay.
one of the things that we might have an idea for our business, but it's not real until we can create something.
Okay.
And so one of the steps that I encourage everybody is have a Google Doc. And I want to get it out of ChatGPT into a Google Doc
Okay.
because now it becomes just less of this is AI, and now it's on something that I can look at, I can edit, I can start to feel like I'm making progress on.
Okay.
Okay,
Gotcha.
so I have people make a Google Doc.
Okay.
And then what I do, and this is actually one of the things I recommend everybody check out, it's over on my website. I have my best ChatGPT prompts in a Google Doc that anybody can download for free.
Oh, I love that. Is it at jeremykrakowski.com?
It's at jeremiahkrakowski.com
Okay.
/ChatGPT.
And I've been calling you Jeremy the whole time. Are you
Oh, that's okay. I
Jeremiah?
can go by both.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep. And on my website, it says free AI prompts, and it's literally those best prompts. And so that's one of the ways that I tell people to start is even by using those types of prompts. If I pull it up right here, it's
Mhm.
this Google Doc of prompts that like can help you brainstorm your marketing for your coaching program, come up with all your sales copy for your landing
Okay.
pages. So, and I'm telling you, this is the quality I think that these prompts output is as good as what I think a lot of people are charging money for. So
Well,
that's
and let me
free
tell
for
you,
you.
like, for the ladies who are listening to Jeremy and I talk right now, and you're using our Equip 360 software. So, people will sign up for my software, Jeremy, and
Yeah.
they'll have the ability to, either create their own landing page and website, and set up their own email list, or have my people do it for them. Okay, either one. But even if my people do it for them,
Yep.
you still have to supply my VAs with the copy. Like, they don't know
Yep.
your business. You know what I mean? So we still need for our clients to give us the copy that goes on the website, or
Yep.
all the words that go on the landing page. And so I think
Yep.
sometimes business owners are like, here, Jen, we just want your people to make it. And I'm like, okay, but my people still need something from
Yeah.
you. And so this is where ChatGPT can come in to help with sales page copy. It can help with email copy. It can help, like, so many of those different things if you'll use it, and if you'll give it enough context so that it can come up with things. Because
And I have a
that's the
great
challenge.
hack for giving it enough context.
Yes, please. And can you hear my neighbor is mowing? Can you
I
hear
can't.
that?
No,
Okay.
I can't.
Well, I'll pretend
But
then that it's not happening.
so this is my unlock for coming up with context, and I do this still constantly myself. Is I will open up the voice recorder on my phone, and I
Yep.
will go for a walk or even a drive in my car, but something to detach you from focusing on the context. And
Yes.
then what I want you to do is just talk about the ideas for your offer, for your landing page.
Okay.
Now here's the part that people might get. They're like, but I don't know what to say. Now check this out. When I do it, I might have 5 minutes where I'm saying nothing in the audio
Okay. Yeah.
because I'm just walking and the ideas aren't
You're
coming.
processing,
But
or
then they start to come up and I just start talking about it. I start putting it there. Then I'll transcribe that audio
okay.
and then I'll bring that into ChatGPT and I'll say, okay, take this
I'm
transcript,
going to shut this window. You keep talking.
and turn it into a sales letter for me. And I have a way that I prompt it even to do that.
That's really good.
That ChatGPT by itself creating sales letters isn't the best. And I can go
Okay.
like so deep into how to do the sales letters, but I want to keep it simple here.
Sure, that's okay.
The way that I mapped it out is I have this kind of like step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. 6 is right here.
Okay.
So it's a storytelling sales
That's
copy
good.
right there.
That's
And
really
so
good.
step 1, I just have it like write a sales letter for a free webinar and this is important, a conversational, informal, and persuasive tone.
That's
So
really good. The fact that
I
you
had ChatGPT,
formal, persuasive, those are good words to be
I
used.
had it review a bunch of sales letters and tell me what tone they all had in common. They were
Okay.
conversational, informal, and persuasive all at the same time. So
And these
now,
sales letters that obviously did really well.
I have it start by writing it in that perspective.
Okay.
And so like whatever transcript that I came up with, I'm going to feed it that. And then I'm going to filter it down to like list out all the pain points, problems, built-in bias in the decision making. It's going to generate like ADA copy, problem agitate solution copy. Now you're not going to use all of what it's
Now
generating.
you're talking like way up here on me, but yeah.
Well, what these prompts do is they train the AI to write a really good sales letter that's better than anything that I could come up with on my own.
Okay.
And so that's why like these different steps do this. This one's all about like the outcome and all that. The final one, I tell it to write it in a conversational, informal, persuasive tone. Are you tired of this problem? I've been there too. Share an empathy story and then the desired outcome. I also have it rewrite it. This is interesting in the tone of Sandy Krakowski. Because it's interesting. The ChatGPT AI trained itself on all the landing pages that are in the archives that Sandy wrote.
Oh, that's super smart.
And so
My
in
team
fact,
does that. They'll say
it might even be able to do it in the tone of Jennifer Allwood
yeah,
too.
you can. My
because you
team
have
does
enough.
that. Yep.
So if you're able to do that too, you could do Sandy Krakowski, you can do Jennifer Allwood. I also like to do the tone of Dan Kennedy. Sometimes I might throw in, I'll say, do it in the tone of Sandy Krakowski, Dan Kennedy, and Russell Brunson all at
That's really,
once, and then it'll like,
that's
super
fascinating.
mind it. But like that's what I do to come up with sales copy or those
Okay.
prompts. So that Google Doc with those prompts, it's you start with a transcript and then you tell it, okay, take this transcript and write this out, and then you just copy and paste those different stepped prompts
Which
in
makes
there.
it so much easier. And so I know you're also using AI right now to do something with like evergreen, because I saw on your Facebook, I
Mhm.
think you even have a class coming up. But are you creating a funnel with AI, or what are you doing in terms
So
of
the
evergreen?
biggest thing that I'm doing is I'm teaching people a lot of like what I just shared with you here is a big part of if I'm talking about evergreen marketing
Yes.
with AI, a lot of the AI part is everything we've just been talking about
Okay, got it.
because it allows you to not have to hire a team, to
Yes.
not have to work like in a half hour, you could come up with all your marketing
Which isn't that wild? I
for a
mean, since
campaign.
you and I have been doing business
And it's
online for so long, I'm like,
Mhm.
friends, I'm telling you, it is so much easier today
Now
than
I
it
do have a
was.
recommendation for people. I do a 2 hour split for most of my marketing. I
Okay.
spend 1 hour one day, and then I go to sleep and I spend another hour refining it the next day
Okay, that's good.
with the AI because oftentimes I will see things I missed on day
Yeah,
one.
that's good. Uh-huh.
On the next day is that.
That's really,
One
really
one other way that I love using AI, and this one is really cool. We all have seen sales letters and stuff from like competitors or people running
good.
ads on social media, or we all get on email lists, a swipe file.
Yep.
Here's a prompt that I love to use. I
Okay.
might write my sales letter and have the AI generate a prompt, something like that. And then I might take a competitor's sales letter that's like I like the tone that they're in.
Uh-huh.
I'll literally copy their sales letter and I'll say, rewrite my sales letter in their tone, style, and structure.
That's really good.
And then it will literally like take my sales letter. It won't make it like theirs, but
Yeah.
it'll take the essence of what made theirs so powerful and just boost mine like that.
That is
And then I'll
really,
kind of piecemeal the two together. While I'll take, okay, this headline was really good from that one in that
yeah.
tone.
And
This
I
one
like
was like
this from
that.
that.
And
Yeah.
that's how I build my sales letters out is I'll use the AI I'll generate maybe 10, 15 sales letters because I like to go crazy with it. And then I'll pull like a different line from
From
each
each.
style into the final one. And that's how I like to do it.
This is fascinating conversation. So if we have somebody listening to us right now who's not using AI yet for
Yeah.
anything in their business, what would you tell them? Like they should because, or I mean, because in my head, I just feel like AI is just making it so much easier to make content better than what I could have made it on my own. And it's
Yeah.
also it's simplifying the process so that I am spending less time creating content, whether it's podcast notes or things for the website or things to go in an email. So it's
Yeah.
simplifying the process. For me, it's like shortening the amount of time I'm spending making things so that I can be spending that time doing other things, delivering
Yes.
inside of my
Yes.
paid group or whatever. So if somebody's not listening or not using AI yet, what would you say?
I would say that you absolutely need to learn how to use it because every business on the planet is using it right now in some way or capacity that is successful.
Yes.
And it's only going to become more integrated, just like the way that the internet has into
Yeah.
our society. Now,
Daily life. Yeah.
there's no excuse in your marketing to not use it in that way. Now, I will say, be a little cautious with it in your content creation. Be a little bit careful with it. And like, if I'm teaching people, I might use it to come up with what's the overarching idea by pattern recognition. But I still want that to come from my heart and soul.
Yes. I
And
would
what,
agree.
like what I just shared with you guys, I didn't have an AI script of what I wanted to share
Yeah.
with Jennifer here,
Of
right?
course.
The
Right.
AI would not have been as good as what I shared with you at all.
Right. Right.
But like, I was able to come up with these different examples and things like that. For your marketing, we used to have to hire Jennifer. You were doing this like 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
You would have to hire people or learn it yourself.
Yes. 100%.
And now you pay $20 to ChatGPT.
A month. Yep.
And there's another AI tool that I also like to recommend to people. It's called Poe.com.
Okay. How do you spell that?
POE.com. So
Okay.
it's also $20 a month. And the reason why is it gives you access to all the other AI algorithms that exist that are out there.
Interesting.
So there's all these other AIs that are not ChatGPT that do all kinds of crazy stuff. And Poe gives you access to them all in one dashboard
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
for $20 a month as well. So
Yes.
I recommend people like, okay, ChatGPT Plus and then have Poe. And that's your like, yes, it's $40 a month, but it's like, it's the most invaluable tool to your
That's awesome.
business to
Totally
brainstorming
worth
and
it.
coming up with things. And what I think is the future of business is going to be so like people are going to be using AI so much faster than we are now
Mhm.
that to set yourself up for success today, I actually just read this on X this morning. The
Okay.
only high risk activity that you could take today with AI is not learning how to use it.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
Because tomorrow somebody else is going to know how to use it much better than you do.
Yeah.
And while AI is going to start to get easier to use, that also increases how many people are going to start using it.
Yeah.
And so if you're ahead of the curve, I've been using AI since 2021.
It's awesome.
I'm learning right now how to develop apps with it because you can literally develop full-on software and all of that. It's very
Wow.
technical to still do that, but it's so much easier. What would cost us $250,000 to do before, you could
Yes.
get a $20 a month subscription to
Yes.
a software development AI, and it will be able to do it all for you. And so that's what I recommend people do. And then the other thing is this, is our world is changing with AI. So what's the most important thing? It's human connection.
Mhm.
It's the time that we spend with our family. It's the time that we spend with our loved ones. It's the time that we can connect with our clients overall. And why are we doing our business if we're not able to have that time to spend with people?
Exactly. The time flexibility. Amen.
And so that's why what I am really gravitating towards with people, I had to do this because before my kids were born, I was the guy that I would work 100 hours a week because it was so fun for me to just build my business and grind.
Yeah.
I don't have 100 hours. I don't even have more than like 15 hours a week to
Right.
work right now
Right. Yeah.
in my business. Even with like the help that we have, I just
Yeah.
don't want, I want my kids to grow up with their dad with them all day long and being able to like have a lifestyle that's like that.
Yeah.
And
I
so
love
that's
that.
why I teach people about having an evergreen business.
Yes.
And what's the difference between an evergreen business is where you're not having to like constantly launch everything. You're not having to do everything live, but you can take an idea and then it can start to market for you out there to people.
Love it.
And so AI allows us to be able to do that at scale in
Mhm.
the right way. And if you want to know kind of like my process of doing that, that's one of the offers that I have that I'm teaching people right now. I have a free masterclass where I
Yeah,
show
tell them
them.
where that's at. I saw your masterclass
Yeah,
on
it's right here, jeremiahkrakowski.com/evergreen. And
Perfect.
it's for coaches and course creators who refuse to choose between success and sanity.
Love it.
Now, by the way, that was an AI generated headline
It's
right
good.
there.
It's good.
A
It's
lot
really,
of
really
this sales copy right here, it was a combo of AI and me
good.
writing this. There's me and my kids right
You're
there.
so sweet.
There's
Yeah.
an AI generated image on the page of like a
Okay.
coach right there, you
Love
know?
it.
So like I'm just showing you examples of AI and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is one of the offers that I have right here, and it's a free class.
Okay.
It's on demand. It's like 42 minutes long. It's not really long, but I walk you through step by step how I'm using Evergreen
Yeah.
and the shift from doing say 5-day challenges and live 90-minute, 120-minute webinars to what
Yes.
I believe TikTok is kind of responsible for a lot of this.
Uh-huh.
Is
Shortest.
people's
Yeah.
attention span has dropped so much lower. So how
Absolutely.
can we use short, bite-sized,
Mhm.
now like 30 to 40
Trainings.
minute
Yeah.
automated evergreen webinars
Yeah.
for that? So that's the big thing. I like using evergreen
Love it.
webinars and then using AI to be able to do that whole process. And here's the cool part. They can actually break down and see if they opt into that, my entire evergreen system,
Okay.
my AI generated email autoresponders that are going out,
Awesome.
the way what my landing pages look like, what my like, so literally and then
Yeah.
with your software that you have, because one thing I tell people, anything that I teach, it's not software specific.
Yeah.
They can apply it to any software. Go
Any
high
software.
level or what you have. You got the Elite 360.
It's
What's
Equip
yours?
360, but it's high level. Mhm. Yep.
Yeah, the 360 software.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot the name of
Oh,
it.
that's
So
okay. It's all good. You're close. You had the letter E.
what
So
was the name of it?
Equip 360.
Equip. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just, so with you, like your Equip 360
Uh,
software, that right there, they could literally plug all this into and
Right.
it would work perfectly
With that
with
software.
that
Yes.
software, with
Yeah.
that, to do everything evergreen.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, my camera over here just died. So if you happen, anybody who's watching on YouTube, all right, I got it to go back on for just a second. But thank you for this, Jeremy. This was fabulous.
Yeah.
You are exactly what I knew you were, a genius when it comes to the tech. And so thank you for sharing all of that with us. Friends, go check out his website. So he's at jeremykrakowski.com. He gave you a
Yeah.
freebie at the beginning and an invitation to his masterclass. If you're trying to figure out more about how to, it's not that we don't want people to work hard, but work smarter. And,
Yeah.
you know, I have always said that I was not ever the greatest painter in Kansas City, but I was the best at marketing my painting business.
Yeah.
And that's why my business took off in a way that others did not. And this feels like another one of those times. And I was using the tools available to me. I was using Facebook and Instagram before so many people in my industry were.
Yep.
So ChatGPT, AI, is just another tool to have in our toolbox that really can set you apart from the competitors and really save you time and energy. So
Yeah.
Jeremy, you're awesome. Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
here. If somebody wants to connect with you online, do you want them to go over to Instagram or go to Facebook?
Yeah, go over to Instagram.
Go over to the
Now,
Instagram.
again, you know me as Jeremy, so my Instagram's at Jeremy Krak, Jeremy
Okay,
Krak.
Jeremy Crack.
So that's that right there. I don't know if it's on the screen here, but here's the Instagram right there. So there's that.
There it is. Awesome.
And my
Fabulous.
website's over here, jeremykrakowski.com. And then that new class I just put up over at the Evergreen class. Right there.
Perfect. 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 Well, congratulations on the new baby. Please give your precious wife. She's so lovely. Just give her a big hug for me. And
I
thank you for
will.
being here. We appreciate you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
You're welcome.